Namaskar friends, I am Siddhartha Singh and today I am going to talk about the marriage proposal. A marriage proposal is a farce, a one-act comedy where a person comes to propose a neighbor, a lady who is 10 years younger to him. But during this proposal, what we find there is no love, there is no affection. The only thing is that both of them are money driven. Anton Pavlovich Chekhav was a Russian dramatist and short story writer. He studied medicine in Moscow, where he began writing short humorous stories for journals in order to earn livelihood. Among the greatest of his mature stories are A Dreary Story, which was published in 1889, War Number 6, 1892, My Life, 1896, Ionich and the Trilogy, The Man in a Case, Gooseberry, and About Love, all these in 1898, and The Lady with the Little Dog, 1899. Chekhov's first successful play was Ivanov, and he then wrote several light one-act comedies. What is important about him is that when he started writing short stories to earn livelihood, his father had gone bankrupt and he was actually the unofficial head of the family, and to remain one of the three seminal figures in the birth of early modernism in the theatre. You know that Henrik Ibsen and August Strindberg are the other two. Now, what is important about his one-act plays is that from the early age in his career, he became interested in writing for the theatre, and his first efforts were such one-act plays as On the Road, The Swan Song, The Bear, The Proposal, and The Wood. As a literary artist of laconic precision who prod below the surface of life, he laid bare the secret motives of his characters. However, the important fact about him is that his status as a dramatist, however, rests on his four late plays: The Seagull, Uncle Vanya, Three Sisters, The Cherry Orchard. Today, we are going to talk about the marriage proposal, which is a delightful farce that could have ended very badly, very darkly, but the playwright instead maintains its energetic whimsies, and he concludes the play in a successful, albeit a competitive engagement. The play is set in the rural countryside of Russia during the late 1890s. Here we find that there is a man named Ivan Lomov, aged 35, who feels a sense of urgency to marry. He arrives at the home of Chubukov family. The elderly Stephen assumes that the well-dressed young man has come to borrow money. Instead, Stephen is pleased when Ivan asks for his daughter's hand in marriage. Stephen wholeheartedly bestows his blessings. He declares that he already loves him like a son. Now, the old man then leaves to fetch his daughter and assures Lomov that Natalia will graciously accept the proposal. In the meantime, when Lomov is left alone, he explains his high level of nervousness as well as a number of physical ailments that have recently plagued his daily life. His monologue actually sets up everything that unfolds next. Now, everything is going well when Natalia first enters the room. They chat pleasantly about the weather and agriculture, and Ivan attempts to bring up the subject of marriage by first stating how he has known her family since childhood. As he touches upon the past, he mentions his family's ownership of the oxen meadows. This oxen meadows is actually disputed property, and the moment he started talking about oxen meadows, Natalia is furious and she stops the conversation to clarify. She believes that her family has always owned the meadows, and this disagreement ignites a caustic debate, one that sends tempers flaring and Ivan's heart palpitating. After they yell at each other, they shout. Lomo feels dizzy and tries to calm himself down and tries to change the subject back to matrimony. But he is again immersed in the argument. Then Natalia's father joins the battle, siding with his daughter, of course, and angrily demands that Ivan must leave at once. As soon as Ivan is gone, Stephen reveals in a shock actually that this young man has planned to propose to Natalia. Now, this statement of Stephen gives a shock to Natalia, and in that shock, she is actually she is also desperate to marry, and she then insists her father to bring him back. Once Ivan has returned, she tries to bend the subject toward romance. She resigns herself that okay, this oxen meadows belongs to you. Then, however, instead of discussing marriage, they begin to argue over which of their dogs is a better hound. This seemingly innocuous topic launches into yet another heated argument. Finally, Ivan's heart cannot take it anymore and he flops down dead. At least that's what Stephen and Natalia believe for a moment. Fortunately, Ivan breaks out of his fainting spell and regains his senses, and that is enough for the father and daughter, and they are relieved. Now, Natalia accepts his marriage proposal, but before the curtain falls, they return to the old argument regarding who owns the better dog. But we can say that this is a delightful gem of comedy. It makes one wonder why so much of Chekhov's full-length plays, even ones labeled as comedies, seems so thematically heavy. In this comedy, there are only three characters. One is Ivan Vasilievich Lomov, who is the neighbor, and second is Stefan Stepanovich Chubukov, he is a country farmer, and the third character is of course Natalia, the daughter. And the story moves around these three characters. Though there is not a big plot of this one act play, but there is a kind of exposition, there is a conflict, and there is proper ending. Actually, the entire story is actually the entire story happens to take place in the drawing room in Chubuko's country house in late 90s, 1890s. And you can see that Lomo enters in a dress jacket, and he surprises the host, the father. And after taking some time to talk to the father, uh, he is actually he muster his courage to finally ask the hand of Natalia in marriage. Of course, the father is very glad and he sends Natalia, but forgets to inform her about the subject matter. This is the exposition of the plot. As I already stated the story, you find that very soon there erupts a heated discussion between the boy and the girl, and uh, Lomo is feeling palpitations and numbness in his leg. Noticing this heated argument, Chubuko joins in, participates in the argument, and then sends Ivan out of the house. Now, after he is gone, the father rants and expresses his shock that this fool dares to make you a proposal of marriage. Then Natalia realizes that Lomo wanted to marry her, and she immediately starts into hysterics, begging for her father to bring him back. So, after Chubuko fetches Lomo back, whose heart is still palpitating awfully, and his foot gone to sleep, means the numbness he was feeling is the same. Now, Natalia and Ivan get into a second big argument this time, and this time about the superiority of their respective hunting dogs, Guess and Squeezer. Ivan collapses from this exhaustion over arguing, and father and daughter fears he is dead. And this fear sends them into another round of hysterics. However, after a few minutes, he regains consciousness, and Chubuko all but forces him and his daughter to accept the proposal with a kiss. Immediately following the kiss, the couple gets into another argument over their dogs, and here the play ends. So, this is the story and the plot, and you have also seen the characters. There are only three characters in this play, and this theme of marriage is not something very romantic theme of love and love leading to marriage as we see in the comedies of Shakespeare or in the novels of Jane Austen. Actually, Chekhav satirizes marriage conventions among the owning aristocracy of Russia in the 19th century. What do you find that the character of Natalia, who is 25 years old, and Ivan Lemo, who is 35 years old, this match is actually so ill suited to one another that it seems that none of them will have a honeymoon phase of their life or their relationship. The core of their relationship is actually property, a better economic future. This is the core of their relationship. There is no love, there is no affection, there is even you can say no liking of one's particular habit. So this drama is a kind of pure satire, we can say. And normally the beginnings of any relationship, we find that there are fun and romance and flirtation, but here in the from the very beginning, this relationship is all fighting and arguing and name calling of their relatives, fathers, grandfathers. No, they are literally fighting. This is if this is how these two behave in the beginning of the relationship, imagine how they might treat each other 5 or 10 or 20 years in. So as far as the theme of the play is concerned, from the very beginning we find that Ivan clearly feels some pressure to marry soon. He remarks that he is already 35, a critical age, and he hopes to begin a quiet and regular life with a wife. And he says that he has no time to look for an ideal love or real love. If he were to wait and hope, it might soon become too late for him to get married. So he doesn't propose to Natalia because he loves her, not even because he particularly likes her, but because she is an excellent housekeeper, not bad looking, well educated, and so on. And according to him, she is suitable and she must be good enough for him. But what we find that Chekhav is actually showing that these people have a very cold approach to marriage, and that was a very common feature in 19th century Russia. And what we find between these three characters, that their hypocritical principles complicate life. And here this pair is so ill suited to each other. There is a gap of 10 years, and yet they are desperately wanting to wed just for the sake of economic security. So it's a satire upon money driven type of marriage convention, as I already told you. And there is a pressure to marry soon, and with this pressure the play begins, and the play begins with fighting, arguing, and name calling, and ends in the same manner. The lecture is over now, and I hope that you have understood the drama well, its theme, its story, its plot. My humble request is that you must go through the text, read it well, at least one deep reading. That will be enough for you to understand the drama. And surely you will learn a lesson of life too, that one should not run behind money. One should seek real happiness in life so that we can lead a better life. Thank you so much.